Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. The world knows Katie Thurston as fearless, outspoken, and unapologetically real. From her time in the spotlight to her candid conversations about mental health and self-worth, Katie has never shied away from telling her truth. But nothing prepared her, or her fans, for the emotional weight of the story she recently shared. This time, the spotlight wasn't on romance or reality TV drama. It was on something far more personal, her mother's medical battle. In a quiet yet powerful moment, Katie opened up about the hardest role she's had to play, not as a public figure, but as a daughter watching her mother fight for her health. Her words weren't polished or dramatic. They were raw, trembling with honesty, and filled with the kind of fear that only comes when someone you love is hurting and you can't fix it. Katie revealed that her mom's health issues didn't arrive with flashing warning signs. At first, it was subtle, fatigue that lingered too long, small complaints brushed off as stress or exhaustion. Like many families, they hoped it was temporary, something rest or time would heal. But as weeks passed, hope turned into worry, and worry into late-night phone calls and anxious doctor visits. The diagnosis, when it finally came, felt like the ground had disappeared beneath their feet. Katie didn't share every medical detail, choosing instead to focus on the emotional toll. "Nothing prepares you for the moment you realize your parent is vulnerable," she admitted. The woman who had always been her protector, her safe place, was suddenly the one who needed strength poured back into her. What followed was a blur of hospital rooms, medical terminology, and long hours filled with waiting. Katie described sitting beside her mom's bed, listening to the steady beep of machines, holding her hand while trying to stay strong. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they sat in silence, and sometimes, when her mom slept, Katie allowed herself to cry. Despite the fear, there was also love, deep, unwavering, and powerful. Katie spoke about rediscovering small moments of joy in the midst of uncertainty, shared smiles, inside jokes whispered through exhaustion, and memories revisited like lifelines. "You start to realize how precious every second is," she shared. "Even the ordinary moments become sacred." Fans quickly flooded social media with messages of support. Many shared their own stories of parents facing illness, creating a wave of empathy that reminded Katie she wasn't alone. She acknowledged those messages with gratitude, saying they helped carry her through the darkest nights. "It's strange how comfort can come from people you've never met," she said, "but it does." Katie also reflected on the emotional whiplash of being a public figure during a private crisis. While part of her wanted to disappear and protect her family's pain, another part felt compelled to speak out for awareness, for connection, and for anyone silently going through something similar. Her vulnerability became an act of courage, showing that strength doesn't always mean having answers. It often means admitting you're scared. Her mom, she emphasized, is the real fighter. Even on the hardest days, she showed resilience that inspired everyone around her. "She's stronger than she knows," Katie said, her pride unmistakable. Watching her mother battle illness reshaped Katie's understanding of bravery. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet endurance. It was showing up every day, even when it hurt. The experience has changed Katie in lasting ways. She talked about reevaluating priorities, letting go of things that no longer matter, and holding loved ones a little closer. Life, she realized, doesn't wait for perfect timing. It moves forward whether we're ready or not, and the only thing we can control is how deeply we love while we're here. As her mother continues her medical journey, Katie remains hopeful, though realistic. There are good days and bad days, progress and setbacks, but there is also faith, support, and an unbreakable bond between mother and daughter. "We're taking it one day at a time," Katie shared. "That's all we can do." Her story is a reminder that behind every headline is a human heart, behind every public smile is a private struggle we may never see. By sharing her family's pain, Katie Thurston didn't just deliver shocking news, she offered comfort, connection, and a powerful message. No matter how strong you appear, it's okay to lean on others when life gets heavy. And for now, surrounded by love and hope, Katie stands beside her mom, not as a celebrity, but as a daughter, facing the unknown together. As the days turned into weeks, Katie Thurston found herself living in two worlds at once. In one, she was the familiar public figure, posting updates, responding to messages, trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. In the other, far quieter world, she was simply a daughter, navigating fear, exhaustion, and hope in equal measure. It was a balancing act she never expected, and one that tested her in ways fame never could. Katie admitted that some of the hardest moments came at night. When the hospital halls grew quiet and the distractions faded, her thoughts became louder. Questions she couldn't answer echoed in her mind. What if things get worse? What if this changes everything? In those moments, she leaned on memories, childhood laughter, long car rides filled with music, the comforting presence of her mom, who had always been her biggest supporter. Her mother, despite her illness, remained a source of quiet strength. Katie described how her mom tried to reassure everyone around her, even when she was the one in pain. "She still asks how I'm doing," Katie shared softly. "Even now, she puts others first." Watching her mother's selflessness during such a vulnerable time was both heartbreaking and inspiring. Family became the center of everything. Old disagreements faded into irrelevance, replaced by unity and shared purpose. Meals were eaten together when possible, conversations lingered longer, and "I love you" was said more often, no longer assumed, never rushed. Katie realized how easily life pulls people apart and how crisis has a way of bringing them back together. The medical journey itself was anything but simple. Appointments, tests, and treatment plans came with emotional highs and crushing lows. Some days brought encouraging news that lifted everyone's spirits. Other days brought setbacks that felt like emotional gut punches. Katie learned to celebrate even the smallest victories: a good test result, a day with less pain, a genuine laugh from her mom. Through it all, Katie began speaking openly about caregiver fatigue and emotional burnout. She admitted there were moments she felt helpless, moments she felt guilty for needing rest, and moments she questioned whether she was doing enough. By sharing these feelings, she unintentionally became a voice for so many others, walking similar paths in silence. "I've learned that being strong doesn't mean never breaking down. Sometimes it means letting yourself cry, then standing back up anyway." That honesty resonated deeply with fans, many of whom thanked her for validating emotions they'd struggled to name. Katie also reflected on how this experience reshaped her view of time. The future, once planned in months and years, felt fragile and unpredictable. She stopped postponing joy and stopped assuming there would always be later. Instead, she focused on the present, on laughter shared over hospital coffee, on holding her mom's hand a little tighter, on saying what needed to be said without delay. Her mom's battle also reignited Katie's sense of gratitude. Gratitude for doctors and nurses who treated patients with compassion, for friends who showed up without being asked, and for strangers who sent messages of encouragement that arrived exactly when hope felt thin. "Kindness hits differently when you're hurting," Katie admitted. "You never forget who shows up." There were moments of unexpected lightness, too. Even in the middle of medical chaos, humor found its way in. Inside jokes, funny memories, and laughter that felt almost rebellious against fear. Katie shared that sometimes laughing together felt like an act of defiance, a way of saying illness wouldn't steal their joy entirely. As the journey continues, Katie remains realistic but hopeful. She knows there's no guaranteed outcome, no clear timeline, and no easy answers. What she does know is that love has become their anchor. Love fuels the long days, steadies the uncertainty, and gives meaning to every step forward. This experience has changed Katie permanently. She speaks with more tenderness, listens more deeply, and loves more fiercely. She has learned that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge, one that connects people through shared pain and shared humanity. By sharing her mother's medical battle, Katie Thurston didn't just reveal shocking family news. She opened a window into the quiet courage found in hospital rooms, the strength of family bonds, and the resilience that grows when life feels most fragile. And as she continues to stand beside her mother through treatments, setbacks, and hope-filled moments, Katie carries one unwavering belief: no matter what lies ahead, they will face it together. One day, one breath, one act of love at a time.